What's going on, guys? Aero here, and guys, for Pokemon fans, this year is very similar to last year, as this year we also have two brand new Pokemon games which are going to be releasing in November. Now last year, of course, the games were Pokemon Sun and Moon, and this year the games are Pokemon Ultra Sun and Pokemon Ultra Moon. But now last year, at this time in August, we already knew about 20 plus new Pokemon, we knew about many new characters, and we also had an idea of how the Pokemon games are going to play like. And now it's August, and it's another new year, we're going to have two new Pokemon games coming out in November, and all we know about these games is that there's a brand new form of Lycanroc, and that it's an alternate story to what was in Pokemon Sun and Moon. So I know this is really surprising because I'm sure a lot of you are also wondering where is the news for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and this is definitely interesting considering how Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were revealed after Pokemon Sun and Moon. Like if you're comparing it to when Pokemon Sun and Moon were announced, I mean those games were announced in like February of last year, and so we had a lot of news by the time August came around, and these games, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon, were revealed even after that. If you're comparing it to Sun and Moon, they were revealed in June, and now it's August, and we still don't know anything about these games, and that's definitely pretty concerning considering how these games are going to release in 3 months and we don't know anything about these games as for like the story or the characters and anything like that. And so that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. I want to give you guys sort of my reasons and sort of my like theories on why I think we're not getting a lot of news about Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon from Game Freak. Obviously this is all just speculation, there is no like confirmed reason or like absolute reason as to why we're not getting news, so hopefully some of these ideas make sense to you guys, and I'm also curious to see what you guys have to say as well. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, so this first reason is most likely the one that I'm sure a lot of you guys can agree with me, and I think that this is the one that makes the most sense, and it's that Pokemon Ultra Sun and Pokemon Ultra Moon doesn't have that much new content when compared to Pokemon Sun and Moon from last year. And if you think about it, all of the new trailers that came out last year for Pokemon Sun and Moon, 90% of them just showed off new Pokemon that were going to be in the games, and that's because it was a brand new generation, there was a whole new region, and so obviously there's a lot of stuff for them to show off because of a new region coming out. It's just full of new content. There's a lot of stuff that they could show, so that's why we had a whole bunch of new Pokemon. Every time the Koro leaked, there were new Pokemon that were being shown off that way. I think like in events and stuff they were showing off Pokemon at like certain events, and even in like the trailers, like they were showing off the new Alola forms that came out, and they were showing off the new like other brand new just Gen 7 Pokemon. And like I think because of that, that's why we got so many trailers last year for Pokemon Sun and Moon, as it was a brand new game, it was a brand new generation, so there's a lot of stuff for them to show in that kind of game because it's a brand new game. But if you're comparing it to this year, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, it's still Generation 7, it's still going to be the same game, it's going to be the same, well it's not the same game, but it's going to be the same region again, it's still the Alola region. There's not really much like they can show off. Like I'm sure there might be some new Alola forms or something like that, but I think like besides that, I mean there's not going to be like new Gen 7 Pokemon or anything like that, and so I think that that's why we're probably not getting as much news as frequently as we did last year. And that's probably why last year we knew a lot more about Pokemon Sun and Moon, as it was a brand new generation, it was just full of a lot of new stuff, and that's probably the reason I think that makes a lot of sense as to why we're not getting a lot of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon news. It's just not a new region, there's not much for them to show us, there's not like a brand new generation, there's not going to be like a whole new set of Pokemon that are going to be like unreleased or like unveiled to us. So I think that's probably why we're not getting much news about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. It's pretty much just like a separate universe compared to Pokemon Sun and Moon, so there's only a few differences and not much like brand new content to show us. Now the second reason that I have as to why we're not getting that much Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon news is probably one that might not make a lot of sense to you guys, but I think it could still make sense in some cases, and that's because of the Pokemon Nintendo Switch game. And I'm sure you guys know by now that Pokemon is in fact going to be coming on the Nintendo Switch. We got that announcement at E3, and there's also been some interviews by Game Informer that have come out recently, and so we definitely know that Game Freak is working on a Pokemon game that's going to be coming on the Nintendo Switch. When is it coming? We don't really know, but everyone saying it's going to be probably a 2019 title. And while Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon still like isn't coming out until later this year, I think that a big cause of why we're not getting a lot of news is because they're working really hard on this Pokemon Switch game. And I'm sure you guys know by now that Pokemon games are actually developed way before they're unveiled to us or way before they're even released. Like I think even in like one of those Game Informer interviews, Mr. Masuda explained how it's like a 3-year process that it takes for them to fully develop a game. Like the first first year is all like planning, and the second year is all like the making of the game, and then the third year is like checking and debugging and all of that. So that's why they talk about how it takes a really long time, and so there's no way you can tell me that just because this year Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon's coming out, they're not doing anything with the Pokemon Switch game. So I'm sure that they're working really hard behind the scenes on developing that Pokemon Switch game. Like, I don't know how long they've been developing this for. Maybe they could have been working on this game since last year. I don't really know when they've been developing it, but I'm sure that's definitely one of those reasons that we could think about as to why we're not getting Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon news. And I think another big thing about this is just because of how this game is going to be on the Nintendo Switch, which is a brand new system. It's most likely going to be a new generation as well, and so I'm sure that Game Freak wants to make sure that they're putting their best effort into that game, because that's going to be a game that's going to make a much bigger impact. Now, I'm not saying that they're being lazy with Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, but I'm just saying that like it would make more sense for them to focus more on that Switch game, because that's going to be on a new system. They probably want to make that game much better than like how Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is. Like, it's basically like if you're comparing it to like a Call of Duty game for a second. Like, you all know Call of Duty games come out on all those systems, but like it's like if you had a game, a Call of Duty game coming out on PlayStation 4 that was going to be coming out later this year, and then they were also developing a brand new game that was going to be coming out on the PlayStation 5, you would probably want them to put more development on the PlayStation 5 version, as that's going to be on like a new system. It's going to be a new type of game. So that's exactly what I'm trying to say here. They're probably working much harder on the Switch version, and that's probably why they're not showing us much news about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, as maybe they don't have that much content and that much stuff to show us for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, as they're working really hard on this Pokemon Nintendo Switch game. And finally, the last reason I have as to why we're not getting any news on Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is the fact that Game Freak is punishing us for all of the stuff that happened last year on the build up to Pokemon Sun and Moon. Now, I'm sure that a lot of you guys can agree on that this is probably the reason that makes the least amount of sense to you guys, and that's why I put it last on this list, because I don't really think that Game Freak would want to do something like this to us, where they punish us for not giving us any news on Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, but it could still be something that they are doing. I don't really think that that's the case, but I'm sure that you can all agree on that there was definitely some stuff that happened last year on the build up to Pokemon Sun and Moon that Game Freak did not intend, and they definitely didn't want to happen. And of course, the big one is the leaks that came out for the final evolutions of the starter Pokemon, and this literally came out like a few weeks after the starter Pokemon were unveiled for the first time, so that's definitely something that Game Freak didn't want to happen. And of course, the big one is all of the stuff that happened with the data mining. I mean, from the Pokemon Sun and Moon demo that came out, I think the people were able to data mine that and find out all of the hidden Pokemon that Game Freak didn't reveal to us. They were able to find out the new Alola forms, like a whole bunch of information about new items and stuff like that. And so I think that because of that, Game Freak was definitely upset that like all the stuff that they put so much hard work into for creating in Pokemon Sun and Moon was leaked, and that's probably why they're like, alright, let's just not give them that much news and that much content this year for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. But at the end of the day here, I don't think that that's probably the biggest like reason as to why we're not getting Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon news. I think the big one is just the first thing that I said, and the fact that the games are basically the same region and there's not much content to show us. I think it would be really brutal for them to just not give us news because of the fact that they were upset at all the stuff that happened from last year. But who knows, guys? I hope we really get some news soon. I mean, these games are really close to launching. I mean, they're only like a few months away, so there's no reason why we can't get news now on Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I mean, Game Freak has to show us something eventually to get us hyped for those games. Otherwise, there's not going to be many people that are going to go out and buy them, and I know some people are still on the fence of how if they should get Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon because of the fact that like we don't know anything about them, and many people are still saying that it's just basically Gen 7 again, or it's basically just Pokemon Sun and Moon again, and it's not worth the $40. So I can definitely see why some people are still on the border of deciding if they should get this game. So I really think that Game Freak needs to put out a trailer so that people are getting more hype about this game again, and they can see that these games are definitely going to be a little bit different and not the same exact thing. Now, I also asked some of you guys on Twitter to see if you guys have any reasons as to why we're not getting any Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon news. So I don't know if I got any answers. Once again, I did ask this last second. But let's look at my Twitter. Yeah, we got a response here from Eric, who says, "Cause Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon is an illusion." So it looks like this person is just trying to mess around, and I guess that's pretty true. I mean, right now at this point, it does seem like an illusion because there's no news. There's nothing to even look at. There's nothing to differentiate between Pokemon Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon. So yeah, hopefully we do get some news soon. And we also got a response here from Angel, who says, "I think we are, but what if one sudden day they just throw something new at us? They have surprised us before." And so yeah, I think that that that's what's eventually going to happen. I think that maybe it's just going to be like one day they're going to all of a sudden have a trailer up or something. I don't know if they're going to tell us ahead of time, but then again, I think one time we might be able to see some Ultra Sun and Moon news at last is at the Pokemon World Championships, because I know that is like approaching. I think it's only a few days away now, so I think that that's like the last chance they'll probably show us something big. I think there, you know, they always show us something there at the Pokemon World Championships. Mr. Masuda always has something to show us. I think like one year he showed off how Pokken Tournament was going to be coming on the Wii U. Last year he showed off that new Pokemon Crabrawler, I think. One year he showed off Mega Kangaskhan. So there's always something that he shows off at World, so I hope he shows off something new, and I hope this time it's actually like a full-fledged trailer for like, I don't know, 2 minutes or something, because this time we don't have any news on like any of these games. So I hope it's like a full-fledged trailer. That would be awesome for him to show us like that whole trailer with everybody at Worlds. Like that would be amazing. But yeah, hopefully we get some Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon news real soon, guys. I can't wait for the games. Like, even though we don't know anything about them, you guys know I'm a true Pokemon fan. I'm gonna play all the main series games no matter what, so I'm gonna always buy them. You know, that's like one of those things that Game Freak can do, and I'll always still buy their games. I know some people are like, no, I'm gonna wait. You know, I don't want to purchase anything that I don't know fully about. But to me, I'm a true Pokemon fan. I'm just gonna buy anything that Game Freak puts out for main series. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to click that like button if you did, and also comment down below on any reasons that you guys might have, or like what you guys think for as to why we're not getting any Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon news. I'm always curious to see what you guys have to say. If you're new to this channel, please be sure to subscribe. I'm definitely going to cover Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon news when it comes, as well as just talk about the games and stuff as well. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Go follow me on Twitter at Actual Aero if you ever want to tweet me something or ask me something. I'm always able to reply to everyone on Twitter, so definitely go and follow me there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.